The TVWAN News is proudly brought to you by
BSP, our bank, our people.
Hello, this is TVWAN News. I'm Mary Silla Keleton.
And I'm Rex Lita. Join me later in the Bulletin for Sports.
In this edition, water runs in a Seki clinic after 20 years, BSP answers questions on banking issues, and Lahani's too good for Gurias. The Aseki Health Center in the Nanima Kariba Rural LLG of Menyamia district has been without water for over 20 years. On Saturday, August 1918, from Digicel Morbe opened their water supply project amidst cheers and tears of joy from locals who had gathered at Aseki station for the event.
The Aseki Health Center in the Nanima Kariba Rural LLG of Menyame District, Morobe Province, serves over 25,000 people, including those from the nearby Watut Rural LLG of Bulolo District. In spite of that, the health facility has been neglected for over 20 years with no running water, no electricity, leaky roofs, rusty medical equipment, only one delivery bed, and no security for both staff and patients. Officer in charge of the Aseki Health Center, Sister Matilda Maborai, described their issues as 10 out of 10 until Digicel Morobe staff stepped in to install a solar water pump at a value of 20,000 kina. The project was officially opened and handed over by Digicel Morobe's General Manager, Shona Imatana, on Saturday, 19th of August. Community health worker Elizabeth Awatua, who is from Gulf Province, has worked at the health center for 11 years now. Standing in a narrow room with their only delivery bed in the middle, Awatua said they perform operations and deliveries in their obstetric and delivery room without water or electricity.
And my co-worker, me to plus go kulapi warakam, LP molo waswas, even all late people LP molo walkabout we go waswas so. That's how me plus I live with this difficulty. But now, yeah, me feeling most and everything is okay because I mean not everything, but for water now I'm relieving me with my co-worker because life we are eating in dirty hub. Me to plus I work some time. We go off with dirty hands. Na me to play mama so me tax go handle them all beginning or whatever. But now we're making possible me to play wash him hand. At least I'm relieving me to play now with water supply. So we are grateful very much.
Pauline Gaigami, who hails from Finchafen district, has been working as a community health worker at the health center for 7 years. She works in the labor room with Awatua and outlined that the nearest source of water is 20 to 30 minutes away. Most times after delivering their babies, the mothers who are covered in blood wrap themselves in laps or towels and make the long walk to the creek or river. When the community health workers face an issue, such as a retained placenta, where a piece of placenta is still left in the womb after delivery, they would start calling for help.
So, all get a time me to plus I carry water lo bucket, come all mama blamila deliver, all retain, all placenta retain and mitla sad one me, all mall, talking all sample was mama, please help me pla lo water bucket lo. House do workman no got go find him lo creek, no got dolo big lo water. Look out him of smell lo one of something duty blo mitla lo walk. So mitla sa manage him go complete. How mitla rausi mama go complete alright or carry wara bucket go na. Me to play it bago carry wara ken lo kink or creek or whatever come, floor must clean, ogata instrument clean.
The project was initiated by 8 female staff of Digicel who applied for the Digicel Foundation 3L staff grant. The grant was 10,000 kina, while the staff raised another 10,000 kina to successfully complete the water supply project. Apart from that, 1,800 kina worth of clothing, cleaning agents, sanitizers, and food were donated to the health center as well. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
Minister for Higher Education, Research, Science and Technology Don Polye has called for a total stop to unprecedented tribal warfare killings, destruction and terror that has occurred in Enga and Hela provinces. He said Enga province is marred with this menace, resulting in mass killing and loss of economic lifeline.
The parliamentary system and all.
The concerned MP for Kandep is calling on conflicting tribes in Enga province to stop the warfare and killings. He said the tribal warfare has taken a new twist where traditional and customary norms are being breached. He clarified that Engan traditional and customary tribal conflict or feud are conducted within strict rules and traditional laws. These traditional rules are like the normal international engagement during wars where fighting is conducted within the land boundaries of tribal war in order to stop spilling to innocent tribes and their territories. He said this has been breached and now fighting engulfs all 6 districts, with most of these tribal fights interconnected.
Those people you're fueling those fights with guns, professionals, Angan educated elites or so-called elites, and we were fueling these fights. I tell you not to do it because it's going to come down to your wife and your children. Your wife and your children, I know this thing. How the nature works, I know it. If you think that you are doing it quietly and discreetly and confidentially, and you give those weapons and arms to young people to go and destroy the other tribe because you're angry, I'm telling you the nature will put it right in front of your own home. It comes on your own wife and children, because what you do in secret does not go unpaid.
He said modern machine guns and various types of deadly weapons are being used, and he called on those inciting and funding these fights to stop.
Enough undermining of good values in Christianity has happened. Now you better confess and stop it, and let's lay down arms and let's have goodness to prevail, or else you'll find that you will exterminate yourself.
Polye said public service have been affected, including education institutions.
Wickedness, the ugliness, the monstrous evil of tribal warfare that we have seen now transformed and formed to something absolutely different, something we've never seen before. It is having the detrimental effect we've never experienced before either. It is worse, and now I'm calling on all Angans. I'm calling all Angans to stop it. There's enough killing, enough destruction, enough disturbance and destruction to the lives of innocent women and children and men, enough of destruction to Christianity, enough of destruction to schools and hospitals.
Freddie Mo, TV1 News.
Mobil Oil New Guinea, a subsidiary of ExxonMobil PNG, has unveiled a game-changing upgrade at its Port Moresby terminal. With the addition of a third loading arm, Monk's bottom loading facility gains increased capacity, leading to quicker and safer truck loading of diesel and petrol. This advancement translates to reduced delivery times, demonstrating Monk's commitment to optimal customer service. Notably, loading times per truck decreased by an hour, boosting daily output from under 20 trucks to over 30, all loaded with high-quality fuel. This strategic move aligns with Monk's dedication to improving fuel supply and contributing to energy security of Papua New Guineans. The company's vision extends to a future bottom loading facility at the Lae terminal and ongoing investments to reliably meet fuel demands. With a century-long legacy of fuel supply, Monk's evolution continues to shape PNG's energy landscape. The Universal Church in Port Moresby hosted a mega dance event for youths on Saturday, August 19, at its main church at Gabaka Street Gardens, which had a big turnout and a successful achievement. Close to 300 youth turned up, including both church members and non-church members as well, with support from the church.
Senior pastor of Universal Church in Port Moresby, Jonathan Pine, explained that the mega dance is a special youth event that the church is having in many different countries, including Papua New Guinea. In PNG, the event was held simultaneously in Port Moresby and Lae on Saturday and Arawa on Sunday.
What is the mega dance all about? Youths are full of energy and they can express that energy through different activities. One of the activities that many youths do to express their energy is dancing. So that's why throughout the world, the Victory Youth Group, that's the youth group of the Universal Church, has decided to do this event called Mega Dance.
12 dance groups participated in dance competition in Port Moresby. Though they were all amazing, displaying great choreography and style, but only 3 winners were given prizes.
Here in Papua New Guinea today, I believe it was also a great success because many youths, not only they express themselves through dancing, but they're also going to receive help, they're going to receive prayer, and they got to listen to some powerful testimonies of other youths whose lives have changed since coming and joining our youth group.
From Facebook, we've seen the advertisement and all this, and then we used to practice at home, doing our dance and all thing. And then we said, why not we go, because we have a talent, so maybe we could use it for praise God for using our talent. That's how we come, and we are very happy to meet all of you, to come to a church like this, for a long time. I haven't been to church, and I feel like I want to come again.
During the event, a couple of youth members who are now church assistants shared their testimony of how their lives transformed when they decided to respond to the call of God to have a change of heart. Frida Kana, TV1 News.
This is TV1 News. Stay tuned for more after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
You like serving on winning plus scale rice matchy pack? Scale rice like giving you plenty chance to winning plenty scale prizes. Kind price so same 256 plus scale rice Nabi set, 192 plus scale rice Kemo Eski, now 44 plus JBL and co speakers, 102 plus wireless microphone. The win, 5 minutes scale rice or Ori rice products, writing full name na contact details below box and receipt, na drop him inside the entry box. You get 4 plus draws, 4 plus fortnight, 116 plus winners, na 16 plus promotion locations. Just try us all. You got terms na conditions for this plan.
More clean, more sweet. Flame natural white sugar. Make more.
From the rich soils of the highlands, the finest coffee has been grown by generations of Papua New Guineans. Expertly blended and roasted with over 80 years of experience, making the finest cup of Nescafe New Guinea blend. PNG's own coffee.
Open Nets. Australia's favorite chef is taking you around the world to meet amazing people.
Teach me how to make this one.
Experience delicious food.
Bon appetit.
And discover the most incredible
Yum.
flavors.
Yum. Nice.
This is a culinary expedition on a budget.
50 rupees. That's a deal. Whoa.
Cheers. Around the World with Mano Fidel. A brand new series coming soon on Outdoor.
Through the Community Grants Program, civil society organizations can apply for grants of up to 50,000 kina, which are focused on delivering development projects in line with our funding priorities. Applications are now open. Applications close in September 2023 at 5 p.m. For more information, visit foundation.digitalpacific.com.
Welcome back. The Pacific region's focus will shift briefly to Port Vila this week when Vanuatu hosts the heads of governments from Fiji, Papua New Guinea, Solomon Islands, and the leader of the FLNKS of New Caledonia for the 22nd Melanesian Spearhead Group Leaders Summit. The MSG is a group fundamentally established 35 years ago to represent and advance the interests of Melanesia and its people. The regional subgroup had met on the sidelines of the Pacific Islands Forum Leaders meeting in July 2022 for the handover of the chair's role from PNG to Vanuatu. But this week will be its first full meeting since the leaders last gathered in Port Moresby pre-COVID in February 2018. The theme for this year's meet is MSG, being relevant and influential. While the agenda for the meeting is yet to be released by the chair, one issue guaranteed to be on the table is the West Papua issue. The advisory group on immunizations is warning that 4/5 of Australian adults haven't had an up-to-date COVID booster shot as a new Omicron subvariant spreads through the United States.
The one that's been getting a bit of press over the last few days is called BA 2.86, and they're calling it Parola. I'm not quite sure Parola, I think it's an asteroid, but it's also a footballer called Lorenzo Parola, so I don't know who they're naming it after. But the reason they're a little bit worried about it, and people who know about viruses are worried about it, is there's a large number of mutations on this virus compared to previous subvariants. It's not a new variant, it's a subvariant, still in the Omicron family. And over the last few months, it's been XBB that people have been worried about. I mean, this is an alphabet soup of stuff, but there's been this subfamily called XBB. And in fact, the next version of vaccines coming out will have XBB in it. Each one is a little bit more immune-evasive than the one before, so the vaccine becomes a little less effective, and it gets around our previous immunity a little bit more. The reason I'm worried about this one, this is not part of the XBB family. This one harkens back to BA2. Remember BA1, BA2, that right at the back at the beginning of the Omicron? So this one originates with BA2 and is a lineage that comes down from BA2 with a lot of extra mutations. Now, we've been here before. Early days, people panic, and then it all settles down because, yes, it's a little bit more immune-evasive, but not any more severe, because Omicron, while it's a severe virus, it's not as severe as, say, Delta was. So at the moment, we simply don't know. There is this new one around. There's cause for concern, but no, if you like, epidemiological reason to justify that concern yet, because it's early days.
But nevertheless, 4/5 of adults they're not up to date with their boosters. How much of a concern is that?
It is a huge concern, and there's still 5 million Australians who haven't had the third shot, regardless of whether it's bivalent or not. So the bivalent vaccine the existing one does give you quite good immunity.
That's the latest one, is it?
That's the one that's current in Australia. So that's for BA4 and 5, but it does give you because it's part of the Omicron family, it does give you some booster immunity to XBB as well. And then later on in the year, at least in the United States, there'll be an XBB vaccine, and presumably that will come here too, although XBB hasn't been quite as dominant in Australia as the other versions. So you should be getting the latest version, and probably we're into a phase now where it's once a year, unless there's a big jump in the virus, It's once a year to keep your immunity topped up. But far too many of us have not had that booster, which means we're under-immunised and at risk.
Also looking at sleep. We all know sleep is important for health, but what is
It's important for mental health and general health. And you and I have spoken about this before, is there's a bit of a myth around that what counts with sleep is duration. And we're all aiming for 8 hours a night. That is a myth. When you look at the studies about sleep, it's much more about sleep quality than sleep duration. Because the best sleep therapy in the world does not turn you from a 6-hour-a-night sleeper to an 8-hour-a-night sleeper. And this is a study which looked at sleep quality. Are you waking up during that? So one group of people, they're waking up during the night, so in other words, they're not maintaining the sleep. And another group of people who had obstructive sleep apnea, and they're stopping breathing and they're waking up. And what they showed was that if you maintain sleep through the night and not waking up, over time, your cognition, you don't show as much cognitive decline as people who are waking up during the night. Now, it could be that the cognitive decline makes you wake up, or it's, we're not quite sure the direction of this. And people with obstructive sleep apnea, they too have more cognitive decline than people who don't have obstructive sleep apnea. So it's about sleep quality and trying to get a full night's sleep, which is about a darkened room. It's about not having alcohol probably not having alcohol with dinner, because alcohol is pretty poisonous for sleep, and various other sleep hygiene that many of us know about. But there is a technique called sleep restriction, which I can't go into because we don't have time today, which does help you have a longer night's sleep within your sleep duration of better quality. So there are ways of solving this problem.
You've heard about the men's shed, but what about a woman's shed? There are more than 50 operating in Australia, compared with more than 1,200 men's sheds. But many women's sheds struggle when it comes to getting funding because they don't have access to the same grant programs that men's sheds do. A group of women from Tasmania's Huon Valley are trying to change that as they work to set up a shed for women to learn basic home maintenance skills and make new friends in a safe environment.
Mon Lulin is a woman with a plan.
That'll be our tool room.
Mon is the president of the Huon She Shed, which will be a place for women to gather and learn new skills in a supportive environment.
And then we've got a theatre style setup where we have presenters coming in to talk about women's issues. There's mental health is a big one down here.
Hundreds of women have expressed interest in the She Shed. Tricia Reardon wants to develop skills in woodwork. She's not surprised many others want to join the shed.
There are a lot of women down here who live alone. They have experienced domestic violence, a lot of marginalisation, and there's just this lack of confidence. And I think that's what's really important. I think women around other women gain that confidence.
There's never been anything that's really been designed and aimed towards women to give those the skills, particularly women who are on their own.
But there's work to do and funds to be raised before the door is open to members.
This shed is really a shell. We need about $60,000 to $65,000.
Men's sheds around the state have received $600,000 in state government grants in the past 4 years. But she sheds like this one don't qualify for the same type of funding.
Don't forget us. We're just as important.
They've shown that there is a large amount of interest from women across our community that want a space like this where they can feel safe and supported.
It is something that we've talked about as a government, is how we make sure that there's equitable access to those grant programs for anybody who wants to access them.
The women hope to have the shed open early next year.
Federal Treasurer Jim Chalmers says his government remains interested in a broad conversation about tax reform, but doesn't plan to raise the GST. A plan released by the Business Council of Australia today advocates a range of reforms, including raising GST while lowering personal and corporate taxes. Mr. Chalmers says his government and the DCA share many views. Changing the GST rate isn't one of them.
Tax reform, we've made it really clear, multiple opportunities now and across 2 budgets. We think the most fertile ground for tax reform is multinationals, high balance superannuation, compliance, cigarettes, and PRRT reform, and we're releasing that draft legislation today. We've made our priorities clear when it comes to tax reform. There's a huge amount of common ground that we can work with the BCA on outside the GST.
Getting a driver's license is a rite of passage for many young people, but it's not always a straightforward process. Some learners have no one to teach them, but a program in South Australia is helping to fix that.
A community driving program has given Kyron MacArthur the keys to life. Now he's got his P-plates, he's working as a first-year apprentice mechanic.
I don't think I would have the job, to be honest with you, if I didn't have a licence.
He got it with support from Nunga Driving, a community program which helps young Indigenous people overcome barriers to getting a licence. For learners, it's an affordable move in the right direction and a big saving from the usual cost of $80 a lesson.
I only have to pay $10 for my driving lessons, which has helped out a lot, because I probably wouldn't have been able to pay for my lessons in the time that I needed to get my licence.
The program facilitator hopes to have a lasting impact.
It's just been really rewarding to see these young people, and they've been really grateful.
The program is modelled on similar programs seen elsewhere, which experts say has helped people to gain and retain employment, especially in regional areas.
Because in the city you have buses, trains, trams, stuff like that. But in country towns like this, it's kind of imperative to have a licence and a good working car.
Helping young Indigenous people hit the accelerator on their future.
You're watching TV1 News. We'll be back with more after the break.
Experience a convenient and smarter way to do your banking with BSB Mobile Banking. You don't have to leave the office or your home to pay for bills. You can view your account balance, transfer funds, top up phone credits, or purchase Easy Pay units wherever you are. Visit your BSB branch today to register now for BSB Mobile Banking. BSB Mobile Banking, the smarter way to bank. BSB, our bank, our people.
He says the best Hunters players come from his region. So does she. But there's one thing that brings everyone together. SB Lager, Bunyamyumi.
Right across the nation, we eat snacks crackers. Emi trupla. All get a young planalapun, only like him snacks crackers. Only make him here, no PNG, one-time lay biscuit company. It's crunchy and tasty. It's irresistible.
A true champion is measured by their courage, their determination, and their passion to never give up and to always keep trying. With a delicious Milo in milk taste and added nutrients, Milo in milk is a great way to fuel our little champions with nourishing energy every day. Because true champions give it their all.
Milo, PNG and Mia. Find PNG made.
Hardware House is more than just a store. It is where quality meets affordability, where culture is proudly celebrated. Spanning 9 provinces, we pride ourselves in offering top-notch customer support and services. We're more than just a store. We're more than a brand. We are Hardware House.
Chef Scott Laseth is cooking up the world's creepiest critters.
You with me? No.
Iguana, hagfish, and wild boar are just some of the items in this season's menu.
Let's eat. And eat. And eat. It's nothing like you've had anywhere.
Hey, dead meat!
Dead meat. An all-new season. Coming soon on Outdoor.
Well, folks, after literally years of negotiation between the fan and the management of Steve Menzies, we have secured the great man for the show. Welcome to the fan.
This is all going through my head, and then all of a sudden he passes it back. Oh, my God.
Today we have enlisted the help of Panthers co-captain and superstar halfback.
When you've kicked it well, you usually know, and especially on the chip kicks, I usually know.
Thanks to Nathan Cleary, invaluable insight for the fans out there, for the kids out there.
Welcome back. Back home, the Nipa Kutubu District Development Authority in Southern Highlands Province held its first DDA meeting in Poroma local level government recently. It was the first of its kind in the LLG. MP Dr. Billy Joseph said he wanted to bring the government closer to the people.
Nipa Kutubu MP Dr. Billy Josephs has brought the government closer to the people by having the first District Development Authority meeting in Poroma LLG. It is the first for Poroma's 30,000 people who were delighted to host the MP and DDA board members. Spokesperson Solomon Ramu says the hosting of the meeting in Poroma is a privilege and boost in confidence for the 32 ward councillors also. Ramu welcomed Dr. Joseph, the LLG presidents of Nipa, Poroma, Kutubu, Mount Bosavi and Nembi Plateau, the DDA members and the security forces to Poroma. In his address, Dr. Joseph said it was his aim to conduct his DDA meetings in each of the 5 LLGs to bring the government closer to the people. The first 2 meetings were conducted at the district headquarters in Nipa. It was Dr. Joseph's first time also to conduct government business in an LLG. In 2024, the Nipa Kutubu DDA will hold its meeting in Nembi Plateau and at Pimaga.
On behalf of 33 Council, Mibla Pasim Mouse, Mibla Sawiso, Mibla looking on the unmarked member of governor staff. Now it's the first time of its kind, member you put him on. You saw him light, Mibla got big plamamas. Please ground him staff. And stop land you. You know working when it's just state land is free.
In his address, Dr. Joseph said it was his aim to conduct his DDA meetings in each of the 5 LLGs to bring the government closer to the people. The first 2 meetings were conducted at the district headquarters in Nipa.
People are making this decision because government aims something from Manmeri. People know holding government or look at Mary or Piginini or private business from Mipla. Government is the business for the people. You call Manmeri a business. Mipla government, through the election process, you may go through one man or is a marking.
It was Dr. Joseph's first time also to conduct government business in an LLG.
Government and staff, you know, some people will sabotage the soul. You know, something from where member may come along and the soul. You know what the tribal government may play around him. You know what the LLG government may play around him. And government belong people belong Nipa and Kutubu. And including all people belong Plateau, people belong Poroma, Kutubu, Manbu Savi. Now people belong Nipa to one time.
In 2024, the Nipa Kutubu DDA will hold its meeting in Nembi Plateau and at Pimaga Government Station in the Kutubu LLG. The final DDA meeting will be conducted at Muluma Government Station in the Mount Bosavi LLG. Freddie Mo, TVWAN News.
Meantime, the Nipa Kutubu District Development Authority presented more than 12 vehicles and several machinery to the Nipa Kutubu District Administration to enhance service delivery in the district.
Nipa Kutubu MP Dr. Billy Joseph presented vehicles and earthworks machinery. He also warned that the use of the vehicles will be monitored. Tracking devices are installed in the vehicles. The vehicles include 2 fully kitted ambulances donated by Mineral Resources for the Nipa District Hospital, 2 police vehicles, 2 district administration vehicles, a vehicle for the Division of Education, and a vehicle for women and SME. To support the work of improving the road network around the station, the DDA also presented 2 trucks and tractor. A new excavator and other equipment will be purchased to improve town road infrastructure. The Southern Islands Provincial Administration will deliver 2 vehicles for the 2 district school inspectors to use. Dr. Billy announced that the 2 more ambulances donated by the National Gaming Control Board will be delivered too. The district has also delivered excavators and big trucks punching road through the jungles of Kutubu to connect Mount Bosavi, the only unconnected LLG in the district. Freddie Moe, TVWAN News.
The continuous comments made from the customers of Bank South Pacific Financial Group regarding the issues of the banking system since the Easter weekend in April was the topic raised by vendors during the BSP Group investors presentation for the first half of 2023. BSP Group CEO Mark Robinson and BSP CFO Ronesh Dayal answered some of the questions in regards to the new banking system, Oracle FlexCube.
Impact of the tax on net profits for shareholders.
Vendors who attended the Bank South Pacific Financial Group Limited first half 2023 investors presentation raised eyebrows on the continuous comments made by the customers of issues they face or are facing with the banking system since Easter of April this year. BSP Group CEO Mark Robinson and BSP Chief Financial Officer Ronesh Dayal took the time to answer some of the questions in regards to the new banking system, Oracle FlexCube.
We've worked very closely with leading global technology providers, starting with Oracle. Clearly, when we implemented over the Easter weekend in April, there were large parts of the bank that went well. Branches worked well, FPOS worked well, apart from one little snag for a few hours on Good Friday. ATMs worked extremely well. Where our issues were concentrated was unfortunately around payments, and this is well known now. It was checks, and it was telegraphic transfers, and some of our local currency payments as well. There's been a lot of very, very intense work by both BSP and our primary vendor and some others to address all of the issues. I would say we've made tremendous progress, and virtually everybody's dealing with this now. At times I've seen some complaints about some slow payments. Largely we're well on the way to full rectification. But I must be very, very clear here. We want to move from what we've been doing, which is making sure that there's no errors, because some errors did occur early on, to actually having something which our customers acknowledge as a market-leading service.
He shared as a helpful reminder that this was a project in PNG that was started 6 years ago with the expenditure of over 400 million kina.
Particularly our main vendor, Oracle, providing dedicated support to us, and we're working very closely with them and our technology team to resolve any residual issues that are there in the payments area. Now, David, you must be making also reference to a large number of comments that have recently come up as a result of an issue we had whereby there were some online transactions that were debited late to our customer accounts, which regretfully has had an impact on our customers. One thing I will say though is that every one of those transactions are legitimate transactions. They were transactions that were undertaken by the customers which were debited, which we've been able to explain to our customers as and when they have come to us. However, to assist with the customers, because some customers went and overdrew their accounts as a result of the late debiting, so we are providing assistance to the customers on a case-by-case basis as they come to us, so that they're not impacted one-off, and it's over a period of time where they can afford to repay the bank for those amounts outstanding. So the total support provided by the bank on that front.
According to the first half 2023 presentation, technology costs increased due to higher software maintenance and volume-related channel costs. Also, the additional staff in compliance and risk overtime support post-go-live and CPI adjustments. This increase in expenditure was also due to the implementation of the new banking system, Oracle FlexCube. Jasmine Iro-Jack, TVWAN News.
The Bank South Pacific Financial Group's first half of 2023 investor presentation was displayed today to display the progress and results it has gone through in the region as well as in the country. BSP Group CEO Mark Robinson emphasized that BSP as the leading South Pacific brand is continuing strong profits and shareholder returns, and company's capital base remains solid.
Bank, as you can see, is extremely profitable.
Bank South Pacific Financial Group Limited was displayed today as the leading South Pacific brand that continued strong profits and shareholder returns. Company's capital base remains solid, attractive economic growth rates, and movement to digital channels. BSP Group CEO Mark Robinson outlined BSP's first half of 2023 investor presentation, which shows its progress in the region and the country as well.
The payments leader in our geography, executing over 25 million payments every month. The returns that we deliver are continue to be very strong, and we continue to share those returns with our shareholders. Over 88% of our shareholders are Papua New Guinea based, and the balance is spread far across the region.
According to the results, it showed that the net profit after tax increased by 7.6% from the first half of 2022. Earning per share increased by 7.6% from the first half of 2022, and the market capitalization increased by 2.3 billion on the ASX.
Capital base continues to be among the strongest capital bases you'll see for a bank, and far in excess of any regulatory requirement that we have. And as I just mentioned, the economic outlook for the markets in which we operate looks quite strong, and we're obviously pleased for what that means, not just for the bank, but for those countries and the communities in those markets.
The income trend shows that income increased by 4.2% to 1.3 billion kina in the first half of 2023. Despite loan growth of 8.3%, net income growth was lower by 1.6% due to lower yields from government securities. FX income increased by 14.7% due to higher volumes and fee income up to 4.4%, driven by growth transaction via payment channels. Robinson is confident that BSP is gradually moving to digital channels and is keeping the momentum in terms of strong profits and returns. Jasmine Irujak, TV1 News.
And now the finance news. The kina closed unchanged at $0.2780 in the interbank market. At Bank South Pacific, our kina was buying $0.2705, $0.4196 Australian dollars, $0.2411 euro, and 38.94 Japanese yen. Looking at commodity prices at New York close, gold, coffee, crude oil, and copper closed higher, while cocoa, copra, and palm oil closed lower. And on the stock market, the Dow Jones closed higher, ASX closed lower, and all ordinaries closed lower as well. And that ends the news segment. Sports is next. Stay tuned.
It's in the highs and in the lows. It's in the big things and the small things too. It's hard to put into words, but you'll know it when you see it. Terrain Tamer, when quality counts.
Are you ready to meet the best version of yourself? The one with the bright, confident smile? You've got to take pride in how good you look, how fresh your breath smells, and how great you feel. To boss it at work, to be your best for uni, or to catch the eye of that special someone. You've got to brush up your vibe with whiter, healthier, brighter teeth. Brush up for confidence with Colgate.
Hey, do you know that Cellmoney gives you twice the Digicel credits you recharge when you top up your phone with Cellmoney?
Yes.
I had the good news, so now I put 3 kina in my phone. I received 6 kina credit.
Well, that's why now I like to top up 5 kina. Because I receive 10 kina. And then I use my credits to call, send text, or get data.
Let's go to a digital store or Cell Money agent today. Deposit money in your Cell Money wallet to top up and receive the double credit.
Dial *888# to do it all with Cell Money.
Cell Money, do it all with Cell Money.
This is insane!
Live AFL, every week on ABC Australia.
I put out an open challenge for a World Heavyweight Championship match right here.
Here comes the man.
Oh my God! And everybody loves Seth freaking Rollins.
Right now, we're facing a man-made disaster of global scale. Our greatest threat in thousands of years, climate change. If we don't take action, the collapse of our civilizations and the extinction of much of the natural world is on the horizon.
Picadita para Rioja. Para adentro. Gol.
Thanks for staying with us. In sports, 3 unanswered tries in the opening 20 minutes of the first half provided the catalyst for a clinical Bintango Goroka Lahanis outfit to end East New Britain Egg Macrobal Gurias 2023 campaign 24-18 in the second elimination final of the 2023 DGCL ExxonMobil Cup in front of the PEC Santos National Football Stadium on Sunday. To their credit, Gurias bravely crawled their way back into the contest, scoring 2 quick tries to trail 8-18 until halftime. But Lahanis kept up their defensive resolve in the second half to shut out any potential comeback from Gurias.
The game experience of diminutive number 9 Charlie Booker and veteran captain Thompson Tete got the Bintango Goroka Lahanis on the front foot early, using their attacking prowess to send Gurias backpedaling. They selfishly kept possession for a good 20 minutes and turned them into valuable points to lead 18-0 before Gurias got back into the contest to trail 8-18. Lahanis' first half scoring spree started from a typical Booker dummy half play after a quick play the ball by Thompson Tete very close to Gurias' line to put Lahanis in front 6-0.
Requisite pressure. Thompson Tete runs into a brick wall of defense. Quick play there, and they're claiming a try.
Booker picked up his second in similar fashion to extend Lahanis' lead 12-0, again at the back of another Thompson Tete run and close to the Gurias line.
Thompson Tete wanting the clock back there. Here's Booker from dummy half, and he's gained his second try.
Lahanis kept their simple game plan working to build pressure and capitalize on Gurias' comedy of errors before young fullback Dozen Hoyato scored on the right edge for an 18-0 scoreline.
Yes!
Gurias finally woke up from their slumber in the last quarter of the first half to launch a courageous fight back, scoring their first try through Alex Max to trail 4-18.
is Junior. He goes over.
A beautiful cut-out pass from Ase Boaz found right winger Chris Benjamin to score Guria's second untouched, but Boaz missed the conversions for Gurias to trail 8-18 until half-time. Gurias came out of the sheds and resorted to using their big men through the middle to pick up valuable meters into Lahani's territory. This paid off with a brilliant run to the line by Max, using his explosive speed and footwork to score his second for a 14-18 scoreline.
Batari, Pipi, Max!
He's
Max
the
is
man!
gonna go! Max is gonna go all the way!
Shut the gate! Alex Max!
A well-weighted kick to the Gurias corner by Lahani's halfback Israel Balio, setting up number 4 Mahfouz Khan that would seal the deal 24-14.
Mahfouz Khan looks like he scored!
Gurias showing some resilience when Chris Benjamin scored a perfect pass by Batari for an 18-24 scoreline.
The sneaky number 9 and Ben.
At full-time, Lahanis defeated Gurias 24-18 to proceed to the next preliminary against the Tigers to decide who meets Miox in the grand final. Man of the match, Charlie Booker.
Thank you. Firstly, thank you. Big thanks to Diesel. Firstly, thank you, Sabotalo. Eastern Highlands crowd, but mostly you start, you come. Game can big plus support. Thank you, Loipla. Mipla start film, so Mipla play at home. All we was back in Eastern Highlands. Mipla start TV watching too, and thank you, support Mipla. Big credit to the boys, Lanis boys. I fought today, want them Gurias. Thank you, Mipla. Look forward, prepare next weekend game against him. Tigers.
Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
EPG Enga Miox have again proven their critics wrong. They are now slouts when it comes to finals footy, with a narrow but hard-fought victory over an equally determined Lace-Next Tigers side in a nail-biter to book their first grand final spot in the 2023 DGCL ExxonMobil Cup race. After a scoreless first half, the minor premiers were resolute and kept themselves in the fight to grind out the 2 points lead until full-time.
EPG Enga Miox's flawless run in this year's National Rugby League competition and the team's uncompromising determination and hard work has paid off with a strong winning culture. Booking the first grand final spot after overcoming a strong challenge from the Lace-Next Tigers on Sunday has again reaffirmed their determination to go one better after falling short to Lahanis in 2018. After a scoreless but frustrating first half by both teams, Miox had points in them but squandered their chances, while Tigers had their work cut out for them, somehow held their line well to repel the Miox onslaught for a scoreless first half. At the resumption of play in the second half, it was the Tigers' ace number 1, Sonny Wabo, who would put the Tigers first on the board with a daft kick to the Miox left pocket for young winger Dixon Otto to make it 4-0.
Here's James. Great pass, but looks forward. But the crowd has gone wild.
Miox got their attacking game back on track to work their way into Tigers' half before their deceptive number 6 Gary James came up with a trick play to fool the Tigers' defense to make it 4-all. Defense started to become so paramount, while points were hard to come by as the match went into the last 15 minutes. Tigers' ill-discipline right at the death was the breaking point for the tight contest, giving Miox a much-needed 2 points buffer and the goal pass to the Big Dance on September 3. Miox enforcer and veteran Super Kokote was rewarded with the Man of the Match award for his tireless effort.
We now come to talk because all of them, all the boys, them all playing Mangi. 1-1-2 all sine Mangi. We all boys come. Now we play strong side. Want them all Tigers. So Tigers them here now them all champion team. So all boys come want them start discipline. They start hang up or play. So we play come want them winner.
Terry Longwood, TV1 Sports.
Hula Lighthouse Cricket Association from Rigo District, Central Province, outmuscled the Swaz-Shipping Cricket Club by 8 runs in another friendly last week. This friendly match aims to address social issues in Hula community and shift their attention to sports. and hopefully get young people to pursue a career in cricket. Describing the importance of the match, Hula Cricket Club captain Kali Ila said, "The matches have an impact on the local community by helping the younger generations to stay away from unproductive social activities." Steamship Sware Shipping Cricket Club captain Rob Cranston said, "Hula has been a special location for staff to take time out." He encouraged the wider community to get involved. To go along with this initiative, Steamship donated 4,800 to the Cricket Association to grow the sport in the village. This is an ongoing activity since 2019. The annual Trukai Fun Run program has made a successful return this year after it ceased for the past 3 years due to coronavirus. The event was well participated in most major centers in the country. Following the suspension of the annual Trukai Fun Run, the event returned this year and in style. Major centers in the country, including Goroka, Kavian, Kokopo, Ley and Port Moresby organized their respective events. In Port Moresby, the event started early Sunday morning. The run started at Sir Hubert Murray Stadium into the main town CBD and then down to the beachfront. Participants returned to the Sir Hubert Murray Stadium to finish the race. The sporting community came out with residents from all walks of life. Former international athletes Ryan Pinney and Dika Toa took charge of the warm-up session. Athletes showed up in support, including those aspiring young talents of various sporting codes. It was an overall success. The event is expected to return to its former hype in 2024. Meanwhile, money raised from the Fun Run t-shirt sales will be used in supporting PNG athletes participating in the international events like Pacific Games in the Solomon Islands and the 2024 Paris Olympic Games. After a month of enthralling games, the Women's World Cup has come to an end, with millions of new fans in Australia asking, what's next?
People involved in the game knew the potential it had, but to see that realised on a global stage with not just incredible broadcast ratings here in Australia, but in other parts of the world as well. Highest broadcast figure for a Germany World Cup game was now the women's game, not the men's game, which is quite astounding. So this is being replicated over and over. But the president of FIFA, Gianni Infantino, was asked about that. What needs to happen now? We've got to this absolute new, it's a crescendo. How are we going to top that? How is it going to continue to grow? This is what he said.
We need to build on that. We need to push even more on that. We need to say to everyone what has been happening here, and nobody can close their eyes anymore. It doesn't just have a sporting impact, it has also a social impact, a transformational impact for the society, and this is what is important.
I think what it shows is by the huge base that came into the fan sides that attended every single match, not just the Matildas matches, but every single game that was played both here and in New Zealand, that there is an appetite, that there is a recognition of the strength of the women's game, and now it comes down to how does the media continue to support them. We've got the Olympic qualification series picking up again in October. We've got domestic leagues that people can become a part of and to go and watch and show their support, and it's those avenues that I think, Gianni Infantino was referring to. That focus needs to remain here. What are we all going to do in order to keep that momentum going?
And that ends the sports segment. Here is the weather forecast for the next 24 hours.
And that ends TV1 News tonight. Pleasant viewing. Bye for now.
The TV1 News was proudly brought to you by BSP, our bank, our people.